Hi, Helen from crystalsandcrochet.com here, and welcome to the Cosmic Cow. Crochet along in 9 parts, and this video will cover part 1, which is rounds 1 to 30. And for the video tutorial I will be using Stylecraft Life double knitting and also batik and some batik elements with a 4mm hook. Hope you enjoy this. Okay, so round 1 we are going to start with a magic ring. So the way that I make my magic ring is nice long tail end, okay, so that you're going to be able to secure your yarn really well. Wrap the yarn around your finger and then cross over. Put your hook under the first loop, over the second loop and pull through. And then yarn over and pull through to make a little slip knot. Okay, and then pull your finger out and there's your magic ring. Okay, there's lots of different ways to do it, so you've just got to find the way that works best for you. Okay, so now we're going to chain 1, and that doesn't count as any sort of stitch. All it's doing is lifting us up to the right height, because we're now going to make 12 half double crochets into this magic ring. Okay, so for a half double crochet it's just yarn over into the ring, grab a loop, yarn over and then pull through all 3 of those loops. Okay, and we're going to do that 12 times. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Okay, so there's 12 half double crochets into the magic ring, and we're going to join to the first half double crochet with a slip stitch. This is just the way that I do it. I use a hook 2 sizes smaller, so this is a 4mm hook that I'm using with the Peace and Tranquility yarn pack. So I've now got a 2mm hook. So you can see already it makes that loop really tiny. So not into the chain 1. Okay, if you want to check, count backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so that's the chain 1 there. That is our first half double crochet there. Okay, so under both of those 2 top loops, yarn over and pull through both loops, and then pull the loop up and put your normal size hook back in. And now we can pull up that magic ring so that we get a nice firm center. Okay, don't worry about working that end away yet. We're going to leave that a little while. But you can see here, and if I just zoom in a weeny bit, you can see how tiny that slip stitch is. Okay, so you're not going to mistake it for a stitch as you're working your way around. Okay, let's just go out a weeny bit more again. Okay, and we'll go straight on to round 2. So we're going to chain 3, and that counts as our first double crochet. Okay, and we're going to make 2 more double crochet into that same stitch. Okay, so double crochet is just yarn over into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. Okay, and we're going to put a second one in there. Okay, so effectively we've got 3 double crochets all in that one stitch. We're now going to chain 1, skip the next stitch and make 3 double crochet in the next stitch. 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so that's our little repeat. The chain 1, skip a stitch, 3 double crochet. Okay, so just carry on all the way round. So obviously that very last stitch there before that little slip stitch, you're going to skip that stitch, and we are going to join to the top of the chain 3 and fasten off and secure our ends. Okay, now I always join with an invisible join, so when we come round I will just show you quickly how I do that. Okay, so I'll catch up with you once we've come all the way round. Okay, so I've come all the way round doing my chain 1, skip a stitch, 3 double crochet in the next stitch. And don't forget to do that last chain 1. And then snip your yarn and pull through. I always leave quite long tail ends. I just find it's so much better to be able to have plenty of yarn to work with as I work away my tail ends. Okay, now let me come in even closer. Okay, so here is our chain 3 that counted as our first double crochet, and here is the top loops of our second stitch. So when you're going to do an invisible join, you're going to work through these 2 top loops here, coming from back to front, making sure that you're underneath both of those loops, and pull through. And then because we've got a chain 1 here, you're just going to literally go through the loop of that chain, then you're going to cross over and come down through the back of the chain 3. Okay, and just pull it down so that the fake stitch or the fake loops that you've just made of that on the top of that chain 3 are the same size as the stitches or the chain either side. Okay, so it's all exactly the same. Now again, normally because you've got your yarn on your hook, you can just work away your ends, but I always prefer to do 2 or 3 more rounds and then work away the ends, because that way you know that you're not going to work away the ends and then end up having to undo your work because you've made a mistake or skipped a stitch somewhere or anything like that. And on to round 3. All of the yarn packs have a listing of which colour is used for which round. So if you need to print that off to have it with you so that you know which colour you're using where, then by all means do. So round 3, and I'm changing colour, so new colour yarn on my hook. We're going to join with a standing single crochet in the double crochet before any chain one space. Now again, when it comes to working away ends, if they're all in the same place, your work can become quite bulky. So just check where your ends are, and I always tend to go opposite each time I start. Okay, so standing single crochet in the double crochet before the chain one space. So there we are, straight in there. Okay, and a standing single crochet, let me just show you in case you've never done it before. You've got a slip knot on your hook, straight in to the stitch, so you're under those top 2 loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, exactly as if you were making a normal single crochet, yarn over and pull through 2. That's your standing single crochet. Now, working in front of the chain one space, we are going to make a treble into that skipped stitch from round 1 down here. Okay, so yarn over twice into the stitch, but then put your hook up so that it's in front of that chain one space. Sorry, I've got rainbows everywhere, which is quite cool. The sun's just come out, and I've got a sun catcher hanging in the window here. Okay, so yarn over, pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops 3 times. So that treble is made in front of that chain one space. It's not attached to it at all. Okay, then we're going to single crochet in the next stitch, and then in that next stitch, so it's the middle one of the 3 double crochets, we are going to half double crochet, double crochet, and then half double crochet, and then we're going to single crochet in that next stitch. Okay, so that's our little repeat. That single crochet we've just done there is the same as that one that we started with, so when you come to your last repeat, the pattern says omit last SC, so last single crochet, so you don't need to make that one. Okay, so let me just show you once more. We're going to make a treble into the skipped stitch of round 1, working in front of that chain one space. Single crochet in the next stitch, then in the next stitch, which is the central one, we are going to half double crochet, double crochet, half double crochet, and then a single crochet in that third one. Okay, so that's our repeat, and you'll notice that you're going to get little points. So just come all the way round and join to that first standing single crochet with a slip stitch. Okay, so that's round 3 finished, and joined to that first standing single crochet with a slip stitch. And now round 4, we're going to chain 1 and single crochet in the same stitch, and then single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So that's into the treble and then into that next single crochet. Okay, so then we start our repeat. We're going to half double in the next stitch. That's the half double crochet. Then in the next stitch, which is our double crochet, we're going to double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet. Now you may want to use stitch markers in those chain 1 spaces just to help you. Helps you to just identify where they are. Okay, we're going to half double crochet in the next stitch, which again is that second half double crochet there, and we're then going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches. That's in the single crochet, in the treble, and in the single crochet. Okay, so then start again, half double crochet in the next stitch, and then in the next one you're going to double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, half double crochet in the next stitch, and then single crochet in the next 3. So just carry on all the way round like that, and just pop your stitch markers in to the chain 1 space. Okay, you will find with this pattern stitch markers really are a bit of a must. Okay, so you are going to need some, even if it's just a spare piece of yarn, but it really will help you to keep the placement of all of your stitches correct. Okay, so carry on round until you get to that first single crochet that we made, and fasten off and secure your ends. Okay, on to round 5. We are going to join with a standing single crochet in the double crochet before any chain 1 space. So again, I'm going to go opposite my tail ends, and here's chain 1 space, there's the double crochet there. So we're just going to go straight in there with a standing single crochet. Okay, going to chain 3, skip the chain 1 space, and single crochet in that next stitch. So that's the other double crochet that's made in there. You're now going to chain 3 again, and then we are going to make a treble 7 together using this same stitch and the next 6. Okay, so to make our treble 7 together, yarn over twice into that same stitch as your single crochet, pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. That's your first partial treble crochet, so we need to do that 6 more times. Okay, into the next stitch, into the next stitch, and the next one. Okay, so what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 so far, so 2 more, which should bring us into the double crochet before the chain 1 space. Okay, so just double check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 there. Okay, so we got 2, 4, 6, 8 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through all of those loops, but don't pull too tightly, and you're then going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that first chain forms the eye that we're going to work into in the next round. Okay, probably can't see all that well with the white, but there's the eye just there with that first chain. Okay, we're then going to single crochet into that same stitch as the last partial treble, or the last leg of that treble 7 together. Okay, so that's your repeat. Okay, so again it's chain 3, single crochet in, skip the chain 1 space, single crochet into that next stitch, the next double crochet, chain 3, and then treble 7 together, starting in the same stitch as that single crochet, and then in the next 6 stitches. Oops. Nearly there. That's leg 6, and that one is leg 7. Okay, yarn over through all 8 loops, don't pull too tightly, and then chain 4. And then single crochet back into that same stitch as the last partial treble. Okay, so effectively what you've got is a chain 3 each side of your treble 7 together, and then the chain 1 there which forms the eye. So it's chain 3 that side and chain 4 that side. Okay, so carry on all the way round and join to that first standing single crochet with a slip stitch, and I will catch up with you there. Okay, so at the end of round 5, don't forget to make that last partial treble into the same stitch as your standing single crochet, chain 4, and then you've joined with a slip stitch in there. Okay, let me just zoom, oops, wrong way, out a teeny bit. That's it. So on to round 6, we're going to chain 1 and single crochet in the same stitch. Now it might seem a bit strange having left these stitch markers in the chain 1 spaces, but do leave them there because you are going to be working into those chain 1 spaces in a couple of rounds time. Just get some more yarn. Okay, so we've done the chain 1 and single crochet in the same stitch. We're now going to chain 3 and single crochet in the next stitch. So we're skipping this chain 3 there, so you've got 2 chain 3s sitting together there. Okay. Now you're going to make 9 trebles into the eye of the treble 7 together. So the eye is here. If I can pull that up so that you can see. Okay, there's the eye there. So we're going to make 9 trebles into that little hole. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, and last one, 9. Okay, excuse me, so 9 trebles all into the eye of that treble 7 together. Okay, and you're then going to single crochet in the next stitch, which is your single crochet there at the end. Okay, so what you've now done is formed a circle. Okay, so carry on with your repeat, which is chain 3, 9 trebles into the eye of the treble 7 together, and then single crochet in that next stitch, which is your single crochet there. Okay, come all the way round and join to that first single crochet, fasten off and secure your ends. I wouldn't work away any of your ends yet, okay, because we are going to be coming down into these chain 1 spaces later, and if you've worked these stitches away you might end up covering those chain 1 spaces, so do leave it for just a couple more rounds. Okay, so all the way round, and I will catch up with you for round 7. I've just got this piece of blue card here so you can see the white, because against my sort of off-white background it doesn't show very well. So you can see that we've now got our 6 circles sitting there. Okay, so I'm just going to zoom in a weeny bit because we are now going to be working into these chain 1 spaces here. Okay, so I've got my new yarn on my hook. And you're going to work in front of both chain 3s and join with a standing double crochet in the chain 1 space from round 4. So that's the space that we've got these stitch markers in. Okay, so just into the chain 1 space and then pop your hook up behind so that both of these chain 3 loops, both of these chain 3 loops are behind. Let me zoom out a little bit so that you can see better. There we go. Okay, and make your standing double crochet. I'm going to take that stitch marker out now. Okay, now you need to make 2 more double crochet in that same space. So if you just bend your work back, you should be able to just pop your hook straight through there to be working in front of those 2 chain 3 spaces. Okay, so you've got 3 double crochet all made into that chain 1 space from round 4. Okay, you're going to skip the next stitch, which is the single crochet here, and you're then going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches, so that's the first 3 trebles. There we go, there's 3. Half double crochet in the next stitch, and then in the next one, which will be the 5th treble, you're going to do 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. So there's 1, 2, chain 1, and then 2 more double crochet. If you want to, you can move your stitch marker into that chain 1 space, because this is now going to be our new point that we're going to be making. Okay, so half double crochet in the next stitch, and then single crochet in the next 3. So we're doing the exact reverse, coming down the slope as we did going up it. Okay, so we've got 3 singles, a half double, then we've got our point of 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, a half double crochet, and then 3 singles. We're then going to skip the next stitch, which is the single crochet, and we're going to make 3 double crochets down into this chain 1 space here, working in front of the chain 3s from the last 2 rounds. Okay, so that's 2 and 3. Okay, so that's your repeat. So you've got your 3 double crochets, and then you're going to do 3 single, 1 half double, and then in the 5th treble of your 9 trebles here, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, half double crochet, 3 singles. Okay, and make sure that you are skipping those 2 single crochets and both of those chain 3s. You're not working over them, you're working in front of them. Okay, so just repeat that all the way round and join to your standing double crochet with a slip stitch, and I'll catch up with you there. Don't worry if your points are curling up a little bit, they will all flatten out in the next round or so. Okay, so we've joined to our standing double crochet with a slip stitch, and now on to round 8. We are going to chain 1, and then we're going to front post double crochet 3 together. Okay, so around the front post of the first of these 3 double crochets, yarn over and through 2. So we're making a partial double crochet. Yarn over, round the post of the next stitch, pull up your loop, yarn over, and just through 2 loops once, and then round the 3rd stitch. Okay, so we've got 4 loops on a hook, yarn over and pull through, and that is your front post double crochet 3 together. Okay, we're now going to start our repeat, which is to double crochet in the next 6 stitches. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and that will bring us up to our chain 1 space. Okay, in that chain 1 space we are going to do 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. So there we go, 1, 2, chain 2, and then 2 more double crochet. Now, because we've put quite a lot into that chain 1 space, you can see that the top of this first stitch has become hidden. So just squish those back so that you can see the top of that stitch, and so you don't miss it, because on the way down we are also going to double crochet in the next 6 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, so there's our point, and it's already starting to lay flatter, but it will curl up a little bit, don't worry about that. Okay, and we are then going to front post double crochet 3 together around the next 3 double crochets. Okay, so around the post, and make sure that you're right under the top of those stitches, right around the post. That's 1, 2 and 3, yarn over and pull through all of them. Okay, so that's our repeat. Double crochet in those 6 stitches, and then in the chain 1 space at the top, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. Make sure you don't miss that first hidden stitch. 6 double crochet coming down, and then front post double crochet 3 together around those 3 double crochet. Okay, so repeat all the way round, and when you come round to the beginning here to this front post double crochet 3 together, join there, fasten off, secure your ends. Okay, it is actually now, once we come round to the end here, it's a good time to secure your ends. Okay, so once I've come all the way round here, I'm just going to really quickly go over making sure that that magic ring that you started with in round 1 is really secure and is never ever going to come undone. Okay. Okay, so again, when you come to the end, make sure that you make your invisible join through that first double crochet and back round, so that you've formed a nice top to your front post double crochet 3 together. Okay, so the number of times that I hear people say, oh, I don't like using magic circles or magic rings because they come undone. Well, it's not the magic ring that comes undone, it's the tail end that comes undone. So making sure that you secure your tail end really, really well is what will stop your magic ring from coming undone. Okay, so let's put it this way. With being right-handed, looking from the back, the yarn works round in a clockwise direction. If you're left-handed, it will go in the opposite direction. Okay, so there's my tail end coming out from underneath those stitches that I made into the magic ring. So with your yarn needle, just go through about a half to a third of the way round, pull the end through, and then pull tight on it to really close that centre up. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that you can see this really closely. Okay, so come back 1 stitch and then go round underneath a few more stitches. Sorry, that's too close, isn't it? That's it. And again, come back 1 stitch and go round underneath those stitches again. and now come back the other way. So come back one stitch underneath the stitches, back one stitch underneath the stitches, back one stitch underneath the stitches. Again, reverse it, so you're coming back for a third time underneath those stitches, each time coming back one, okay, and going round, and then you can cut that end off really close and you have got no fear of that coming undone. Okay, so it looks perfect from the front and nice and neat and tidy from the back. And then I just can't stand my work ending up like what I call a jellyfish with lots of tails hanging down. So I'm going to work these tails away now. This one can be worked away up and down these stitches or around the top, because it's going to be very, very difficult to get anything else into that centre now. Rounds 3 and 4, you've easily got the base of stitches to work away here, and the same where we've done our circles, it's going to be easy to work underneath these stitches here, and again with that last round. So just tidy your work up, get your tail ends worked away at this point, make sure that centre is absolutely perfectly secure, and I will join you for round 9. Moving on to round 9 now, and the pattern tells you that from this point the stitch counts are all given per repeat rather than for the whole thing, so it makes it a little bit easier now to keep track of your stitch count and make sure that it's absolutely right each time. So we're going to join with a standing back post double crochet around the last stitch before any chain 2 space. So pick a point, any point, and we're going to do back post. So make sure that you are right underneath all of those top loops, right around the post of the stitch, and make a standing double crochet. Okay, and then our repeat starts. So in the chain 2 space, I'm just going to zoom in a teeny bit, there we go. In the chain 2 space we are going to do 2 half double crochet, chain 2 and 2 half double crochet. 1 and 2. Okay, so that's our new point. At this point the points are quite obvious, so you may not want to use stitch markers for a while now. It's up to you. Okay, so we're now going to back post double crochet around the next 8 stitches. Okay, so that's coming down the side of our point. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Okay, so that will bring you down all the way down the side. So your next stitch is your front post double crochet 3 together. Okay, and you are going to front post single crochet around that. So again, make sure that you get right underneath that third loop and around the whole thing to make your front post single crochet. And then again, we're going to back post double crochet around the next 8 stitches. So that's taking us back up the other side, oops, of the point. Okay, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Okay, so that's our repeat. So in the chain 2 point space, we're going to do 2 half double, chain 2, 2 half double. You've then got 8 back post double, a front post single, and 8 back post double. Okay, so carry on. I'm going to do that 6 times altogether, so 5 more times. Obviously we've already got the last back post double in there, so join to that standing back post double crochet with a slip stitch, and I will come back for round 10. On to round 10, I'm going to chain 1 and single crochet in that same stitch that we joined to. So that's that last back post double crochet, and then we need to single crochet in the next 2 stitches, which will bring us up to the point. Okay, I'm going to skip the chain 2 space, sorry, chain 2 first, skip the chain 2 space, and then single crochet in the next 7 stitches. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Okay, we're going to skip the next 3 stitches, these next 3 here, and then in the next stitch, which will be that front post single crochet that you made, we are going to make a treble cluster, chain 3 twice, and then a third treble cluster. Okay, so we're going to skip those 3 and then into that front post single, going to make a treble cluster. So we've done yarn over twice, pull up a loop, and then come through 2 loops twice. Okay, so we've got a partial treble, exactly as we did here in the circles, but we're just not doing as many. Okay, so again into the same stitch, through 2 loops twice, and for a third time into that same stitch through 2 loops twice. So you've got 4 loops on your hook, and you've got 3 partial trebles here. Yarn over, pull through all of the loops, and then we're going to chain 3, and then we're going to make another treble cluster. This is all going into the same stitch. So that's 1, 2 and 3, chain 3, and then treble cluster again. Okay, so on the pattern it says treble cluster, chain 3 twice, and then treble cluster. Through all of the loops. Okay, so we've got 3 treble clusters and 2 chain 3 spaces. Then we're going to skip the next 3 stitches. So if you need to, just pull that little group apart so that you can see clearly 1, 2, 3 stitches, and we're then going to single crochet in 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Okay, so that's our repeat. So we've done a chain 2 and skipped the chain 2 space. We've then done single crochet in 7 stitches, skipped 3, and then into that front post single we've done a treble cluster, chain 3, treble cluster, chain 3, treble cluster, skip the next 3 stitches, single crochet in the next 7. Okay, so go ahead and repeat that all the way round, and then when you come back to the beginning here, you've already made 3 single crochets here, so the pattern tells you to omit those last 3 single crochet. Make your join here and fasten off. Okay, moving on to round 11 now. Again, don't worry if you're all curly-uppy, it will all flatten out. If you're using the classic cotton, it will be sitting flatter because that yarn is much heavier. With these lighter yarns, it does tend to curl up a little bit more at this point. But don't worry, it's all part of the plan. Okay, so round 11, we are going to join with a standing single crochet in the last stitch before any chain 2 space. Okay, so where's my ends there? So let's come opposite side. So here's our chain 2 space, there's our last stitch. So we're going to make a standing single crochet in that last stitch. Okay. There we are. Working over the chain 2, we're going to make 3 single crochet in the chain 2 space of round 9. So this chain 2 is round 10. This chain 2 here is round 9. So all we're going to do is go straight over both of those sort of chain spaces, chains into this space here with 3 single crochet. So 1, 2 and 3. Okay. We then need to single crochet in the next 6 stitches, taking care not to skip that very first stitch there, because we've got the chain space here. Let me move that over a little bit. Yes, because we made 7 single crochets here, so we can count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's our first one there, so we need to make sure we go in there. So if you need to, just count backwards so that you make sure that you're absolutely in the right stitch each time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, which means we've got 1 single crochet left there. Okay, that is the stitch we're going to skip, and then we're going to front post double crochet around the cluster, and we're going to make 4 double crochet in the next chain 3 space, and we're going to do that twice. So front post around the cluster, and then 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so that's, oops, getting my yarn all tangled. So that's once, and then we'll front post double and into the chain space 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so that's our little mini repeat within a repeat. Front post double around the cluster, 4 double crochet in the chain 3 space twice. We're then going to front post double around that next cluster, skip the next stitch, and then single crochet in the next 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, which brings us to that last single crochet before the chain space. Okay, so that's our repeat this time. So working over the chain 2s into that chain 2 space there from round 9, 3 single crochets. Okay, then single crochet in the next 6 stitches, skip 1 stitch, front post double around the cluster, 4 double crochet in the chain 3 space. Do that twice, front post double around the cluster, skip the next stitch, single crochet in the next 6 stitches. Okay, repeat that 6 times. You're going to come all the way round to this standing single crochet at the beginning and join there with a slip stitch, and I will catch up with you there. Moving on to round 12, we're going to chain 1 and single crochet in that same stitch. Okay, so that's that single crochet before the group of 3. Okay, we're now going to single crochet in the next 7 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Okay, so this is sort of the end of the repeat. So our repeat now starts, excuse me, Our repeat now starts from here. So we're going to skip these next 2 stitches here, and then we're going to work around this curve of stitches. Okay, so we're going to make 2 double crochet in the next stitch, which is that front post double. And then we're going to double crochet in the next 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to make 3 double crochet in the next stitch. So again, that's this central front post double. 2 and 3. Double crochet in the next 4. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 2 double crochet in the next stitch, which again is that next front post double crochet. Okay, then we're going to skip the next 2 stitches, these 2, and single crochet in 11. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, which will leave us 2 stitches to skip before we start with our 2 double crochet in that front post double again. Okay, so there's your repeat this time. So what we've done is made this curve much bigger. Now these bits will curl forward, don't worry about that, it will all straighten out in the end. Okay, so make that repeat 6 more times, but obviously on this last repeat you've only got 5 single crochet to make because you've already got 7 there. Okay, when you get round to here, join here with that first single crochet and secure your ends. Okay, so I can't count. We made 8 single crochets here altogether because we had the first one and then we did another 7. So there's only 3 left to do at the end of this repeat before we join to this first one.